విద్యా విధానంలో డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ దేశంలోనే మొట్టమొదటి సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం. దాదాపు 2.5 దశాబ్దాలుగా దూర విద్యా విధానం ద్వారా కంప్యూటర్ కోర్సును అనుసంధానం చేస్తూ BA, BCom, BSc డిగ్రీ కోర్సులను అందిస్తోంది. పోస్ట్ గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ స్థాయి, డిగ్రీ, డిప్లొమా స్థాయి కోర్సులను ఔత్సాహికులైన విద్యార్థులకు అందిస్తోంది. డెవలప్మెంట్ స్టడీస్లో సెంటర్ ఫర్ ఎకనామిక్స్ అండ్ సోషల్ స్టడీస్ ద్వారా M.Phil, PhDతో పాటు విశ్వవిద్యాలయమే స్వయంగా దూర విద్యా విధాన అంశంపైన PhD వంటి పరిశోధన కోర్సులు ప్రవేశపెట్టింది. రాష్ట్ర వ్యాప్తంగా సుమారు 4.5 లక్షల మంది విద్యార్థులు ఈ విశ్వవిద్యాలయం నుంచి ఉన్నత విద్యావకాశాలు పొందుతున్నారు. డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం స్థానికంగా స్వయం బోధనా పద్ధతిలో ముద్రణ రూపంలో రూపొందించిన కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అందిస్తోంది. కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అధ్యయనానికి సహకరించే విధంగా రేడియో, టెలివిజన్ పాఠ్యాంశాల ఆధారంగా కార్యక్రమాలు ప్రసారం చేస్తోంది. అధ్యయన కేంద్రాల ద్వారా ఏర్పాటు చేసే సలహా సంసర్గ తరగతులు, సైన్స్ ప్రాక్టికల్ సౌకర్యాలు విద్యార్థులకు స్వయం అధ్యయనానికి ఒక చక్కటి అవకాశం. ఇవి విద్యార్థి సమీపంలో ఉండే అధ్యయన కేంద్రం నుంచే పొందొచ్చు.
Good morning, my dear students and viewers. Today we have assembled here in order to discuss a topic on teleconference in the subject botany. The topic of today's teleconference is climate change and greenhouse gases. This topic has been tailored to the needs of M.Sc second year students of botany of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. This is in the course number 5. Apart from the regular students of M.Sc, this topic is also useful to all those who are interested to love the nature and live it in a harmonious life. The duration of the topic is for 1 hour, of which the first 40 minutes is for us, that is myself and as well as the experts who have come here to discuss the topic, and the last 20 minutes is allotted for the questions and answers. So those of you who are interested to ask any question pertinent to the topic can contact the following 4 numbers. The 4 numbers are 04027031431, 04027031432 and 04027031433. I repeat, for Hyderabad the code is 04027031431, 04027031432 and 04032703143. The 2 issues which are incorporated in today's teleconference are the change of climate and greenhouse gases. They are very much interlinked. They are interdependent. They constitute one of the major issues of the environmental sciences. So this particular topic has been attracting the attention of the people all over the world. Nationally, internationally, it has been much discussed and much debated all over the world because of the catastrophes which the globe is going to face in the decades to come unless these are properly not addressed. So before we actually go into the topic, I would like to touch upon some of the important aspects of the topic. First of all, we should know what is climate change and what is the meaning of the greenhouse gases. What is the impact of these two together on the common globe? Then, what are the remedial measures to be taken, and whether this climate change is occurring only in the recent time or was it also there in the past also, and then what will be the course in the future, and what are the various remedial measures to address these problems. So, these are the main issues which has to be discussed in order to complete the topic given to us. So, in this context, we have received what you call requested two eminent academicians to come here and share the dais with me. I would like to introduce them first and then the discussion will start. To my immediate left is Dr. T. Annie Shiran. She was a counselor of M.Sc. Botany at Dr. Ambedkar University. Presently, she is working as in charge head department in a government college at Jangaon. To the left to the Annie Sharan is Professor B. Rajkumar. He recently retired as a professor of botany from the Osmania University. He was also academic coordinator for the environmental sciences of the same department, Osmania University. Both of them are having excellent what you call interested in this particular subject, and I would like to ask them to share their views on this subject. Before I actually start the discussion, I would like to introduce myself also. I am Dr. Vijay Kumar. I have retired from the Sardar Patel College as the head of the Department of Botany, presently working as a senior consultant in the Dr. Ambedkar University. So, now we start the discussion with Professor Rajkumar Garu. Will you please differentiate what is the difference between the climate and the weather?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, all of you. Let me tell you that most of us, we have a misnomer between these two words, weather and climate. People generally say weather is fine or climate is fine, but these two are different, which conveys a different meaning in climatology. Weather is the state of the atmosphere at a particular time at a particular place, which includes whether the atmosphere is in the atmosphere, whether we feel hot or cold, whether it is dry or humid, whether we see other factors. That means exclusively the temperature, minimum and maximum temperature which are prevailing at a particular place, then the rainfall or the precipitation, then the humidity which contributes for the total nature of the weather, that is the weather at a particular place at a given time. And the cumulative effect of these weather pattern for a period is constitute the climate. The climate is the average conditions of these weather pattern, that is called as climate. So, hence these two terms has to be taken separately whenever you are describing these two phenomena in the respective fields. So, the climate is one of the phenomena which varies from place to place, from region to region, and in the which also depends upon the various other factors. So, that is what I want to say, that it is the main difference between the weather and the climate.
We always talking about what is climate change, climate change. Can you explain what is the climate change?
Yes, definitely. Climate change is the significant and lasting change in the statistical differences, distribution of these climate pattern over a period of time, which may vary from few decades to millions of years. That is what is generally said to be as the climate change. So, you know that in the past the climates were different and now the climate is different, which is going to be elaborated by my colleague. She will be telling about these things in more elaborate manner with her presentation.
Yeah, good afternoon. As sir has already told you about what is climate change. Yes, it is climate change is a long term change in the Earth's climate. especially it is a change due to an increase in the average atmospheric temperature. If you look at this visual, 2 billion visual please. This is the Earth's climatic history. This visual shows the Earth's climatic history. It is 2 billion years of climate change. If you see, there are synchronous cycles of glacial and interglacial period. The Earth is alternatively cooled, then warmed. Great sheets of ice or glacial ice thousands of feet thick accumulated and then melted, then reaccumulated. So, we can observe patterns of cooling and warming. See, if you observe the Carboniferous period, it was called as Great Carboniferous Ice Age. Even the recent past, I am talking about Pleistocene. After that, we have there is a Little Ice Age, and this shows that the climate change, it is not an immediate one, but it is a lasting one. And look at this visual. The global temperatures from 2500 BC to it is projected now to 2040 AD. See, you can see there are alternative periods of warm period followed by cold periods. So, this climate change is a natural phenomena, and it is as sir has already told you, it varies from millions of years to few years. Okay. And there are both natural drivers and man-made drivers for this climate change. First one is natural drivers, that is variations in solar radiation, variations in the Earth's orbit, continental drift and volcanic eruptions. These are the natural drivers that have contributed to the climate change in the past. And anthropogenic drivers are changes in greenhouse gas concentration, changes in land use and changes in aerosol level. These are the few anthropogenic drivers that have contributed to the climate change. Now, we will discuss about each the natural drivers one after the other. First one is variations in solar radiation. As we all know, sun is the predominant source of energy, and both long and short term variations in solar intensity are known to affect global climate. Observations of sunspots and beryllium isotopes revealed that 3 to 4 billion years ago, that sun emitted only 70% of as much power as it does today. Okay. And once the 3 million billion years, the energy output of the sun increased and atmospheric composition changed, and also variation, these long term and short term variations have contributed to this climate change. In the recent past, that I am talking about 300-400 years ago, we have experienced a little ice age that lasted from 1550 to 1850 AD. That was 300 years. There was a little ice age, and even there was a Mandarin minimum which existed from 1645 to 1715, that around 70 years there was minimum temperatures. So, this is nothing but the variations of the solar output have contributed. This is a natural phenomena. Now, when we move to the next one, that is variations in the Earth's orbit. If you look at this picture, Earth revolves around the sun along its axis, along its orbit. It rotates about its own axis. Earth's axis of rotation is tilted away from the perpendicular to the plane of its orbit around the sun. At present, the tilt away from the perpendicular is about 23.5 degrees. According to Milkovich orbital theory of climate change, the obliquity, the eccentricity, the precision of the Earth's orbital variations have affected the total amount of the sunlight received by the earth. Okay. This have affected the total amount of the sunlight received by the earth and the distribution of the sunlight on the globe. Okay. All the orbital cycles causes the glacial and interglacial periods. Next, this is plate tectonics and the volcanic eruptions have also contributed to the climate change. See, during Carboniferous period, that means 250 million years ago, there was a supercontinent called as Gondwana land, which was a large landmass, and from this Gondwana land there were changes brought about, and the physical feature of the lithosphere, the position of the landmass, and the mountains and water bodies and the ocean currents, heat transport, all these systems were changed because of the continental drift, so called continental drift and plate tectonics. Due to this plate tectonics, this is the continental drift. You can, in the first picture you can see the supercontinent Pangaea, and in the fifth picture you can see the present day Earth. Okay. And the one of the reasons for this contributors for this climate change is volcanic eruption. In the recent past, we have experienced so many volcanic eruptions. Even 2 years back in Iceland, there was a volcanic eruption, and Mount Pinatubo was erupted in 1991 June 12th, has caused it has thrown more amount of sulfur dioxide gases into the atmosphere. All these things, they have contributed to the climate change.
Do you have any evidences to say that the climate change has occurred in the past or present?
Yes, definitely. The scientists have worked more vigorously on this, and they have collected a large data on the past climate, and with the various factors which contributed the past climate changes are temperature measurements, in which they have identified the isotopic oxygen, and with that they have taken the climate conditions, and as well as they also used the satellite pictures for them. And the archaeological evidences also, they say about this, that is the agricultural pattern in the past and production, the forestry and other things, plus the glaciers, the shrinkage of glaciers itself is an evidence that the past climate and the present climate are entirely different. Then the Arctic sea ice loss is also another important phenomena. I think we have some visuals to show you, and the vegetation, especially the Carboniferous forests, which have been totally vanished, and that is, and then next the pollen analysis. Pollen grains are the best examples of the past indicators, because they are, what you can say, they are definitely they are indestructible. So, they give us a beautiful analysis of the past flora, and which can be equated and we can be compared with the modern vegetation. The precipitation or the rainfall pattern has entirely changed in the past and present, that also been taken care. And the dendrochronology, or that is dendrochronology is the study of the trees with special reference to the annual rings. And that the annual rings, they beautifully express the differentiation in the seasons, and that particular pattern which was there in the past and in the present, it shows a lot of variations. So, automatically it indicates that the climate at a particular place has been changed. Then the ice caps or the ice cores are also said to be changed in its position, and many animals, especially the beetles and number of fishes which were there in the past, now they are not. So, that indicates that as and when the change in the climate has taken place, so we see that these particular species have vanished. And the sea level change is also another thing, where most of the coral reefs which generally seen in the oceans, they have changed its directions, as well as the carbon dating of these coral reefs will also indicate that the past climate was entirely different from the present one.
Present climate, yes.
I think the study of paleobotany, paleozoology, in short terms is the paleontology, will reveal what was the vegetation, what was the animals which have been extinct.
That is
Yes.
definitely, that is
Yes.
the main thing which is actually contributing.
Yeah.
So, people think that the past has no relevance with the present,
Yeah.
but the past will indicate the presence only. It will tell us how the present will be. Now, whatever the things are happening now, we can also visualize the future.
Yes,
So,
sir.
when we think about the present properly and meet the requirements of the present with the careful attention, so we can protect our future.
Yeah,
Thank you,
even the air bubbles that were trapped in the ice, glacier ice, were analyzed, and they found that the past climate was entirely different from the present climate.
What are greenhouse gases, and explain it about it.
Greenhouse gases are the gases these that can absorb and transmit the infrared radiation. That is what they are called as the greenhouse gases. And these gases are the carbon dioxide, the methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and even the water vapor. And now the latest contribution for the greenhouse gases are chlorofluorocarbons also. That is what these are, the greenhouse gases.
Can you elaborate on them, please?
Yes, sir. This is greenhouse gases, as sir has already told you. They have an effect on the earth called as greenhouse effect. Okay, these greenhouse gases are necessary, and I should say they are boon for us, and they're God's gift to the earth, because without these greenhouse gases, the earth would have been a ball of snow, because they trap the solar radiation and they act as a blanket around the earth, and they protect the earth from rapid cooling. So, they keep the earth warm. This is called as greenhouse effect, and this is nothing but this term is analogy to the greenhouses. If you see this visual, you on the left side you have a greenhouse. You might have seen these greenhouses in large nursery establishments, and there is a mechanism. Okay, these greenhouses are made of glass or plastic, which is a transparent material, and the solar radiation, the sun's radiation, they pass through this transparent material, and they warms the ground, and the warm air in the greenhouse the ground, when the ground is warm, heated up, this will heat the air in the greenhouse, and there is a mechanism for that. It will be trapped inside and keep that house warmer. The same mechanism that exists on this earth, that is called as greenhouse effect. Okay, if you see this visual, these greenhouse gases, they keep our planet warm. Okay, the greenhouse effect is process caused by greenhouse gases which occur naturally in the atmosphere. This process plays a crucial role in warming the earth's surface, making it habitable. Otherwise, I have told you, the earth would have become a ball of snow, and it won't be habitable for the human beings or any organisms. Now, what they will do is, first the sun emits energy that is transmitted to the earth. Because the sun is very hot, the energy is emitted in high energy short wavelengths that penetrates the earth's atmosphere. Then about 30% of the sun's energy is reflected directly back into the space by the atmosphere or by the clouds and surface of the earth. The rest of the sun's energy is absorbed into the earth's system. The earth emits energy into the atmosphere because earth is cooler than the sun. The energy is emitted in the form of infrared radiation. So, at wavelengths longer than the incoming solar energy. These greenhouse gases, now they will play a major role. These greenhouse gases in the atmosphere absorb much of the long wave energy emitted from the Earth's surface, preventing it from immediately escaping from the Earth system. The greenhouse gases then re-emit this energy in all directions, warming the Earth's surface and lower atmosphere. And now comes the human role, because these are the natural gases. They were existing right from the formation of the Earth, and they were there in the past also. But in the recent past, after the that is post industrialization period, the human role, or through anthropogenic activities, these the concentration of these gases have enormously increased. So, the atmospheric concentration of greenhouse gases has increased over the past 2 centuries, as I have already told you. So, this has a lasting effect, and it has a like a it's a pronounced effect on the Earth's climate. Okay, and as sir has already told you, these are the greenhouse gases: water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, gases used for aerosols. These greenhouse gases concentration, if these concentration are increased, they will change the Earth's climate.
Whether the fossil fuels which are using, will it also contribute to the greenhouse gases?
Yes, sir. Yes. These are all these gases, especially carbon dioxide. It is emitted into the atmosphere through burning of fossil fuels, and also the wood and the plant products.
Gas.
Yes.
Coal.
Yes. Yes.
At this juncture, let me add that you are asking us whether they are increased, the greenhouse gases increase or not. I have a data with me where the current greenhouse gases concentration and in the past, that is in the 1750 AD, the data which was collected at the time, the carbon dioxide was around 280 ppm, but now it is around 390 ppm, which is an increase in around 40%. Similarly, methane was around 700 ppb, parts per billion, and now it is around 1750, and there is an increase of this particular methane around 150%, and nitrous oxide was around 270 ppb, and now it is around 322 pp, and around 19% increase. And the ozone, which was only 25 ppb, now it has been 34 ppb, around 36% increase. So, you can imagine in this what you can say 200 years, we have seen that in the atmosphere these gases have increased.
So, what are the consequences of increase in the what you call greenhouse gases?
Definitely, these gases, as and when they increase, they cause, one is global warming and another is ozone depletion. These are the two phenomena which occur, and naturally whenever you talk about climate change or global warming, these two phenomena continuously occurs, and definitely these two which are there, they have the effect on the different what you can say flora and fauna on the globe, that is the total biosphere, and not only the biosphere, all the spheres which are there, whether it is a lithosphere, a hydrosphere or cryosphere, all these spheres they get affected, and you see that this will be what you can say causing an enormous loss of the habitat.
Any effect of global warming in Indian subcontinent?
Yes, already we have seen that there is a information on the global warming conditions, that now already we have noticed that there is an unprecedented heat waves, cyclones, then you can say floods, then especially salinization of the coastlines have taken place, and it affects agriculture, fisheries and health. This is what we have observed in India, and even in future in Indian scenario there is a lot of discussion that this global warming is going to cause the decrease in snow cover, affecting nearly the 70% of the water flow during the summers in the Ganges and Brahmaputra. Then erratic monsoons, already we are noticing that earlier in our childhood we used to see the seasons,
Different
but
seasons.
there are no seasons now, and this erratic monsoons are affected. Then even the agricultural pattern is also affected. Then it also causes a lot of what you can say disruption in the power supply and water supply, and there is a drop in the wheat production. Even 1 degree Celsius increase in the temperature, atmospheric temperature, it is going to cause a loss in the production of wheat, and then rise in sea level, coastlines, and forests, different forests, and even the mangrove vegetation, and increased frequency of floods, cyclones, and others, and even there will be a shift of different types of forest patterns in the places where it is. So, definitely you see that the whatever the vegetation pattern we are seeing, that is going to be lost, and it is going to be replaced with these particular effects.
Yeah, even this global warming have the following effects, like the temperature. I am talking about the sir has talked about the Indian scenario, and I want to project the global scenario.
Okay.
The first one is temperature changes. The next one is spread of diseases and loss of biodiversity and animal extinction, diminished food and water supplies, migration, conflict and wars. These are in the broader sense. Okay. And if you look at this picture, the global temperature change, it is, if you take from 1860 to at present, the temperature, the average global temperature has increased to 4 degrees centigrade. Okay. And by 2100, it may reach up to 500 degrees, 5 degrees centigrade. Okay. And these are the global warming predictions. So, sir will throw some light on this.
So, if you look at that particular visual, that all over the globe, there is a prediction that the temperature will increase, and already we have seen that within a decade or within this particular century, the temperature was increased by 0.8 degrees Celsius. A mere increase in the 2 degrees Celsius or 3 degrees Celsius will cause loss of we can say human, the population, then the heavy floods and others. So, definitely what you look at it is that this particular temperature has increased in most of the parts, and look at the other visuals. So, it shows that in the past and the present, there is a change in the temperature ranges. Can you show some visuals here which we have?
Yes, sir. Okay.
So, what I am going to say that this particular changes in the climate really causing a problem with the various nations, and especially the depletion in the ozone will also cause, can say, damage and cause UV rays penetration, and cause dermatitis and many of the eye diseases, and thus there will be increase in the carcinoma of the different what you can say different organs also, it is predicted. So, what I want to say that unless until you mitigate this particular greenhouse gases, then we will not be able to survive. And what we look at it is that these particular changes which are there, they have been identified, and all these conferences, the biodiversity conference, other conferences are mainly aimed at us. Now, this is one where you can see that temperature changes, they are present and they cause extreme weathers, they disrupt the water cycle, there increased tropical cyclone activity, increases in the areas affected by the drought, desertification, glacier retreat and disappearances, and increased volcanic activity will cause earthquake, etc. There is a rise of average ocean levels, then acidification of oceans, so oxygen depletion, and all these things will lead to what you can say extinction of the most of the species. For example, last week we have seen in the newspaper that Michigan University have worked on the global warming conditions with respect to the ocean, and they have found out that most of the phytoplanktons will vanish. Around 40% of phytoplanktons have been lost due to this global change, and as and when there is a what haline species are there, that if they get diluted with the snows melt and the water become dilute, the most of the species they cannot survive. And apart from that, even the temperature also to which they get acclimatized, so such species also will not be seen, and hence most of the biodiversity either on the land or in the water will be lost.
Yes, the first change in the rise of temperature will be the melting of ice caps around the Arctic region and all the glaciers in the world. Okay. If you look at this picture, this Arctic sea ice in September 79, the left picture is, and the right one is 2007. It shows the biggest reductions since 1979 to 2007. There was almost 70 meters thinning in 5 years, Greenland ice. See, 1992, there was ice was 70 meters more, and now it has thinned down to less than 70 meters. Okay.
At this juncture, I want to tell you, even with respect to our Himalayas.
Yeah.
So, in the 8 decades, we have seen that around 350 vertical feet of ice has been lost.
We have a
So, I do not have a visual, but this is the information which is there, authentic information is available with 350 vertical feet of ice has been lost.
Yeah, I think you have
Yes,
visited
have.
Kedarnath recently.
Yes, recently I
sir?
went to Kedarnath and other areas where I have seen the ice being melt and ultimately so much of water entered into the sea. Sea levels have been increased.
Yeah, because of this increase in because of this melting of ice caps, naturally it was proved that in Arctic region or in the globe, there were around 5,077,000 cubic feet of ice was there on the earth. If this ice is melted in one go, I think the sea level will rise
abnormally,
300 meters, 300 meters, and all the areas will be submerged. Okay, this will not be. It will not happen in one day, but the process has already started, and slowly these ice caps are melting, and because of this, there are so many effects on the human life or the life of the flora and fauna of the earth. The first one is the ice which is present on the earth, it is nothing but fresh water. Okay, fresh water. If this is melted down, this fresh water mixes with the seawater and desalination occurs. If desalination occurs, some of the biota, some of the fauna which are living in the seas, they may disappear very soon, and we will lose so much of biodiversity in the seas. And even the slightest rise in sea levels will cause the islands, so many islands, to get inundated, and they are projecting that, saying that Bangladesh is very soon going to disappear, okay, from the world map, and even Maldives. These are the islands that pretty soon they are going to disappear. If the ice caps, they will melt, and in the immediate future.
In the backdrop of this discussion, can you throw some light on the recent cyclonic storm we got in the Andhra Pradesh and also the one in the US?
Evidently, it shows that the climatic patterns have changed. Earlier, we used to see that only in a year at least only one cyclonic effect we used to have
it.
But in the recent past, if you look at the data, that every year more than one cyclonic storms are affecting our Indian coast, either on the Bay of Bengal or in the Arabian Sea, and the recent one Neelam is also such thing. And if you go to the America Sandy, you know that this was one of the what you can say the heaviest loss which the US people have faced in the 124 years of their history, and huge losses have taken place. And even the scientists recently, you can say, studying about the Sandy, they have expressed their opinion that it is all due to the climate change in the global. So, one has to take care about this particular aspect, that why this global warming is taking place, what is actually the causes which are creating, and that is the reason why recently the biodiversity convention which has taken place with us, and earlier also in the different conferences, the people have been suggesting and wanting them to reduce the greenhouse gases. So, that is the main culprit which is causing the warmness of the globe, as well as the depletion in the ozone and creating such a thing, and ultimately we the human can say loss will be there, and we have to face lot of, we can say, difficulties in going.
Which are the countries which are contributing more greenhouse gases?
Obviously the data says always it is US.
Yes,
so
China.
those are the people who are not actually signed the protocol.
But the
Protocol.
recent latest data shows that it is China.
China, yeah.
China.
Kyoto Protocol they have not
Yes,
signed.
yes.
China
This is
also.
China.
So that
And
is-
even the carbon dioxide gas concentration, it has increased when we post industrialization period from now. Now, in 1970, it was just 320 ppm. Now, it has increased up to 391. The latest data, it has showed that in the October 1st data, this year data shows that 391 ppm of carbon dioxide, that is parts per million of carbon dioxide is present on the Earth's atmosphere. This is a great concern for the human life or the life on the Earth. Okay.
So, here I will be adding that the industrialization taken so much that the carbon dioxide concentration in 2100 AD is said to be around 541 ppm.
Yes.
So, that is what they are predicting, and if this continuously goes on, it may reach even up to the level of 970 ppm.
Yeah.
So, where this population will live, and whether there are any, what you can say, carbon sink will be present or not on this globe.
It will adversely affect the biosphere.
Definitely. So, if
Excuse me, there is a question, please. Please hold on. Hello. Yes, sir.
okay, so that is what is predicted and projected, that China definitely they are contributing a lot, because there is a more industrialization and more requirement of their goods for other countries, especially America. So, due to heavy industrialization, they are the heavy emitters of these particular gases. And what happened, that excessive usage of their land and resources has led to what you can call the drought and dryness in most of the places in China at present.
Yes.
Out of the 4,000 lakes which they used to have, more than 2,200 lakes have been dried within these 2 decades.
It is the same situation in Andhra Pradesh also. In
same
Hyderabad, we
thing,
had
same thing.
number of lakes
That
around
is what
the
is
city.
happening. And people, they depend on some others, and they take the goods from others, and they make them to contribute to these things, and they want to be safer other side. So, like this, the things are going on, and ultimately whoever they are there, they are causing a great loss to the nature, and ultimately this is what is going to happen.
So,
that
the famous evolutionist Darwin says, don't disturb the nature.
Yes.
Nature is perfect, you should not interfere with.
Yes.
The more interfere, the more will be the worries or causes.
Because nature has its own balancing mechanism. We should not disrupt that mechanism, so that it will the effect will be on the on us
Biosphere.
only,
Yes,
on
yes.
on us only. Even this global warming causes spread of diseases, because when due to the increased temperatures, the vector-borne diseases like dengue, malaria,
Bird
and bird flu, all these will spread very rapidly, very rapidly, and they will cause
Untold
loss of life,
loss.
loss of life.
Even the malaria now,
Yes,
which is
controlled loss.
really
Rampant.
spreading
Yeah.
rampant, it is also said to be on the change in the climate. Earlier we have eradicated to some extent, but now you can see once again it has come back.
Even this global warming have economic effect also on the countries, because once this once the global warming occurs, and because of this erratic behavior of monsoon and all, the production of the food lessons, comes down, and due to all these factors leads to migration of people from rural areas to urban areas, even from one country to other countries, and there will be a conflict and wars for food and water supply. Okay. So, all these are the effects of global warming.
See, at the same time, industrialization is also necessary for the development of any country. Do you say that just because it is going to hamper the what you call economy, should we stop all these things?
No, no. What happened is, you just go back to UK. In the early 17th to 18th century, they were laughing at the people who are not industrialized. They used to say that industrialize and prosper. That was the statement they have seen, and they have been telling. But once they have seen that the impact of the industrialization and the pollution which they have faced, and nearly 1 week darkness in the London city due to the all gases emissions, they felt that more industrialization will lead to more and harms. And later they came to know that more industrialization means it is perish. So, industrialize and perish now, that is the word we can
There is a proverb, as you sow, so you reap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is what
happening.
So, this should not happen, and there should be always a balanced type of development, a sustainable development has to be required. Otherwise, we cannot answer the future generation. So, this present generation has to take care all the things which are needed, and when all these conferences are going on, people are advocating and telling us that this must take care, and we should follow a certain principle that as our elders used to give us the wealth or the things for us to continue our generation.
Yes.
We should also contribute such a beautiful nature for our future.
Whatever little it may be, whatever your contribution.
Yes. So, that is why whatever these contributing things are there for the what you can say greenhouse gases and other things. So, we should actually reduce the usage, and then only we can see that to some extent we can protect our nature and the atmosphere.
Yeah, I just want to add to Dr. Rajkumar. Yeah, the biggest greenhouse gases contributor is from energy sector like coal and the burning of coal and other fuels. So, we can always think about the alternative energy resources which generate electricity or power to the nations.
So, that is what you are correct. Around 70% of the carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere comes from the what you can say fuel.
Yeah.
Fossil fuels.
And
around 80% comes from the electricity which is generated from the coal based. So, you can
coal is also a natural fuel.
Yes.
So,
that is the reason why these we should have an alternative energies, that is green power, which we call it as either solar or wind power, which we can harness. Of course, there are many ways of other powers are also we can use it, but these are two available, and one is sun. Solar energy is free energy, and that is actually we can harness that.
Yes.
But there are very few people who are harnessing it. Thank God, in some countries they are totally dependent on the solar power only, and many of the countries they are following that, and they are really truly contributing for the lessening of the.
So, they are eco-smart.
Yes.
Yeah, even in our country, Gujarat and Rajasthan, they are tapping this solar energy, solar energy,
even also
wind energy,
both energies.
energy. So, we can adopt even our Andhra Pradesh state. We have very vast
hill tracts are there.
Yeah, hill tracts are there, and we can tap the wind energy and tidal energy, because we have large coastal line in the state. we can think about this alternative energy resources.
So, can you suggest me what are the various methods by we can control this emission of gases or control the climate change and greenhouse gases? What are the remedies?
The first one is creating awareness. Creating awareness. Without awareness, we cannot contribute anything. So, first one is creating awareness.
Even if it's a small minimum.
Yes, at a person level. There are other so many methods are there to offset the carbon footprint. So,
I'll tell you some more.
Yeah.
Use lesser fossil fuels, then use less energy, use green power, okay, and carbon free power, which is nothing but solar
Carpooling
energy.
is also
carpooling, yes.
So, recycling is another one.
Yeah.
And these methods, and another thing, I will add one more important point is that judicious usage of any product,
Yes.
because
the optimum.
yes, and whereas every product requires in its manufacture the water, and as you can say save water, you can do many things.
Save
So,
water,
that
save
particular
planet.
water is a virtual water, and even that is what is needed nowadays, that you should always see. For example, in America, they waste lot of food. Every year food wastage is around 520 million metric tons of food they waste.
Okay.
So, this is so much of food, and to produce that food, you require all the sources.
Yes.
So much
Irrigation,
of water.
anything, water, but where from? Directly from the river? No, you have to draw. For you
Excuse me, sir, there is a phone call. Let us wait for that call. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm Venugopal from Kakinada. I'm speaking.
Yes, sir.
Sir, incidentally, I have been watching your program. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
I have been watching your program for 1 hour.
Yes, sir.
I'm extremely happy to learn lots of things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And I do not have any question. I am not a student. I'm aged 55.
In the initial discussion only, I told it is not only for the botanists, it is open to all those who
And for the viewers
love
also.
nature and live with it harmoniously. Because okay, this is an environmental issue. Just now, madam was telling, you should be eco smart in your discussion. Sorry,
Approach.
Eco smart in your approach.
What I observed in the recent past, sir,
Yes, sir.
it is not the ignorance or innocence of the people.
Yes.
It is the greedy of the people, sir. They are
Absolutely.
benefited by
You are
100
absolutely correct,
rupees.
sir.
They don't mind destructing 1,000 rupees.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely correct, sir.
It is sheer greedy. Even in villages, it is not innocence.
Yes.
And the scientists like you have to try on that line. We have to have a paradigm shift to think on these lines.
The man has thought that he is a king. He has destroyed all the forests or whatever the natural wealth it has given to us without looking for the future. So, ultimately nature will have its own ways of reaction. That is why recent cyclones in America or in Hyderabad, the storms we are getting it, because nature unknowingly hits back us. So, knowingly man is committing mistakes. So, once the man comes to aware of all these things at the basic levels, I think these things can be stopped. You are absolutely correct, sir. Your opinion is quite good. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you, sir. Continue the program where I am trying to learn lots and lots of things.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
One more thing, afforestation, because deforestation which is contributing to the carbon dioxide, increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So, afforestation is also one of the major steps we have to take, because these plants, they access carbon sinks, because through photosynthesis they absorb the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So, if we plant more trees, we can answer this global.
Yes, madam. I remember to have read somewhere in the Forester Journal, a single plant will produce millions of matchsticks, but a single matchstick is sufficient to burn out all the forest.
Yes,
So this is
very good, sir, very good.
this is the thing. Similarly, the Darwin has told that everything in this globe is perfect. Just a minute, sir. There is another phone call. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I am K. Anand from Anantapur district. Good morning, sir.
Anantapur University. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am going to ask a small question.
Definitely.
Sir, I am going to ask a small question about. Could you please explain some precautions? How to prevent the nature?
How to?
We prevent the nature.
How to repair the nature? Huh?
Yes, sir.
How to repair the nature?
Prevent the nature. What precautions we have
Preserve
to
the
take?
nature.
How to preserve the nature? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Precautions.
Yes.
Preserve the nature.
Yes, madam.
Yes, this is very much in our hands, sir. As human beings, this is very much in our hands. Yes, each one plant one. Okay, first thing we have to do is plant a tree and judicious use of resources. Yes, the judicious use of water and electricity, all these things, as sir has told you, already expressed, we all require, all these resources require so much amount of energy. So if we reduce this usage, or if we judiciously use our resources, we can preserve our nature.
Thank you.
Just I will give you an example for him,
Sir, certainly.
that if you waste a single A4 page, you will be wasting around 13 liters of water. So, that is the value of a single paper. So, like that you calculate for all the products which you buy in every day and use in every day. So, that will tell you that how much water you waste. So, this is what I want to tell you, that try to understand the nature and try to protect your nature by using your own applications.
Saving
Thank you
energy.
so much, sir, for your kind having come here and discuss the matter very big. And in fact, this topic takes a lot of time. It's a very big topic.
Yes.
Yes,
because
yes, in
it is
fact.
on par with the biodiversity. So, the 1 hour's time is very small,
true.
but still you could able to answer so many questions. And I hope our students of university and also others who have given a phone call, they will be sufficiently happy with the answers which are given like this.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very much.